You have seen my next guest. She sings, you listen up. You've seen her on television, she's on radio, she's a busy woman. Everybody give a big welcome to Kambua. How are you?
Hi, Larry.
So glad to have you come on.
Thank you for having me.
I'm just so excited that you've never been on our show. What's
You've
up
never
with
invited
that?
me. I have waited and waited. But this is a good time. I'm not complaining. Thank you.
We're glad you finally came on.
Yeah.
And it's such an important period for you to come on when the country's mourning the Garissa attack victims. And for you also, it's an anniversary of the death of your dad.
Right. It's actually a year. We celebrated a year yesterday. And yes, my plan with my music and everything revolving around his anniversary and celebrating his life coincided with what happened in Garissa. And I remember thinking, it's so timely in so many ways, because it's not just my story. It's not just me who is going through a hard time dealing with the loss of a loved one. We're talking about people in Garissa who woke up and the day ended and they would never have thought that their daughter or their son or whoever would not come home. Right. And you know, grief is a difficult thing, Larry. And my hope, of course, as I do my music, is that it will speak to those hearts, those people who I put my life out there, my pain, my joy, so that people can relate. Because so many times we want to sing about how fabulous our lives are and how the joy of the Lord is my strength, and we're afraid of telling people that I cry myself to sleep sometimes. We're afraid of telling people I cannot get out of bed sometimes. So that's what this is. The song Tutaonana Tena is basically celebrating my dad's life, but also encouraging people who have lost loved ones. And
the question a lot of people ask in situations like this is, where is God? Why does he let your father die? Why does he let 147 people get killed? Some of them were at a CU meeting.
God is always there, whether we understand it or not. I'll tell you that on the 10th of April 2014, I did not understand that, because I woke up to a reality of my father not being there anymore, and he would never be there in this life. And I didn't want to face that, and I questioned God. I wondered, I said, God, I trusted you. You know, when the doctors would talk to us and tell us, you guys, this is the end, you need to say kwaheri. I said, you know, God can do anything. And I felt, for a moment, I felt let down. But I remember over time, this has been my journey for the last 1 year, is God reminding me that he had been there. And he walked my dad even through that transition. And the reality, Larry, is however we transition into the other life, we're all going. You know, any moment from now, Larry. And for me, the take home for that is to give my best at every moment. But to remember that God is present in good and in bad times. Yeah.
That is an important message for you to say, especially at this moment, for a lot of the families who are thinking through all of this pain and the tragedy, and perhaps finding it hard to find God in it. You know, the one thing that I know about God is that he understands our pain more than anybody else. And, you know, when people come to you when you're grieving, sometimes we say the wrong things, even to the families of the Garissa. As we tweet, as we Facebook them with very good intentions, sometimes we will say the wrong things because we don't fully understand. But there is one who understands. He's actually called the God of all comfort. And, you know, my prayer for those families as they question is to direct those questions to God. Part of what I sing in my song says, when the pain is too much, I will talk to God, because he's the only one ultimately who will understand. And one day we'll be able to ask those questions, Larry. For now, we will never get the answers, but yeah. We're going to play your song as we go to the break, but you got married. Congratulations.
That's a long time ago, but thank you.
You've not been on my show, so I haven't congratulated you officially.
Well, thank you.
So it's a good time to talk about it. How is married life going?
Well, married life is a blessing, and I thank God for it. But of course, that's not what I'm here to talk about, Larry. But thank you for your congratulations.
That's all I wanted to say. Unless you want to tell us more, because we have time.
No.
Musically, apart from Tutaonana Tena, what else can we expect from you?
I'm working on my album. I've been working on my 3rd CD for a long time now, actually. I think this is sometimes I don't know whether to say it's a weakness that we have as artists. We set a date and we say, I'm going to release my album
on
in
this
April.
Particular date.
Yeah, and then the date comes and guys are like, you said,
what happened?
You know? So that has been my story for the last 3 years. But I'm finally seeing the end of this project. So let me say tentatively, by May, my 3rd CD should be out, and I'm excited about that.
We'll wait, because May is not far. May is next month.
I'll bring you a copy.
May is next month.
I'll bring you a copy.
Good stuff. Tell me about you in the gospel, because especially over the past week, there's been a lot of controversy with this whole Willie Paul and Bahati thing. Bahati accusing Willie Paul of having stolen his song, and people are saying, how do you see beef in the gospel world? You are in this business.
I'm in this industry, and beef is everywhere, conflict is everywhere. I'm sure there's conflict even at your workplace.
Absolutely, yes.
I think the issue is that we, as gospel artists, we have been entrusted with a certain platform in the lives of people. And so there's an expectation of us, which unfortunately we will not always meet.
Right.
And, you know, the one thing I'd have to say to people is to remember that that gospel artist that you love, at the end of the day is a human being, and they'll probably do stuff that will confuse you. That will be Kambua, it will be Emmy, it will be anybody.
Right.
And so one, your relationship should be with God and not Kambua, then God. That's one. And then two, you know, I think that for us is just to constantly remind ourselves that we have been entrusted with something, and to keep that in mind as we do what we're doing. But yes, conflict is everywhere, and it will be solved. It's like a family. There's nothing that cannot be resolved.
Right.
And I think even with the people that you've mentioned, Bahati, Willie Paul, they're very gifted people, and God has used them in fantastic ways. So I don't see that there's anything that cannot be solved in it.
But do you, all the people in the business, reach out to Bahati and Willie Paul? Are all very fairly young, they're new in the business, and sometimes you see with the problems of the youth. Is there some kind of mentorship or support that they get to make sure that some of these things don't come into the fore?
Okay, I'll talk generally about the younger artists, and not directly about the two of them, because I'm not directly mentoring them. But yes, there has been intentional efforts to mentor young artists, and a lot of them, actually, I have to say this, come up to us. They write us on Facebook, they meet us at gigs, and they say, I want you to walk with me, I want you to help me. So I have had the privilege of working with a few artists, and it's not that we know it all, but there's mistakes that they can avoid that we made. They don't always have to learn the hard way. I also say that I think the more times change, the nature of the challenges also seems to change.
Right.
Some of the things that they're battling with right now, I wasn't battling with when I was getting in. So sometimes we also have to sit down and honestly just be like, okay, God, give us wisdom on this. But yes, there is quite a number of young upcoming artists who are willing and ready to be mentored, and they do have people who are working with them.
Right.
Yeah. This
is interesting. Gigi just played two of my favorite songs from you, Nishikili and then Umetenda Wema.
Oh, okay.
This is...
Thanks, Jijo.
He's in a suit today. He's on a roll.
So good, Jijo.
He's... somebody tweeted a little earlier that Leo Mambanani suiti.
Oh wow, yeah.
Na nyenye ume-launch sasa viti. Select tunafaa kukuba yetu ni headphones sasa. Na hiyo. Hey, look, iko complete. Iko set. Form iko juu lakini.
Kambua than
Hey, Jijo.
Jijo.
Kambua says I'm on a mission.
Yeah, he is. I actually believe he's on a mission.
How so?
Jijo has been single for a very long time. And I'm slowly seeing some positive change. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Hapo kwa single.
Yeah.
Tuache tu sahi.
I'm done.
This is done. Lakini tutakuombea. Jeffrey Akubasu on Twitter says, ask Kambua about her tattoo, please. I just want to know why she has it.
Okay, this is what I'll say about my tattoo, so we never have to talk about it again. I'll say, you know, a lot of times people write me even on, you know, and they say, this is what the Bible says about tattoos. I've even memorized this, Leviticus 4:25. But what I have to say about my tattoo is that God found me as I am, as I was, and He did not tell me, Kambua, in order for me to accept you, you have to get rid of your tattoo, you have to get rid of your piercings, you have to get rid of this. He found me the way I was, and He has chosen to use me as I am. And initially, Larry, I was very conscious about it.
Yes.
I had to wear boleros, and because it made people uncomfortable, and it made me feel like I constantly have to explain myself. But I have found grace in it, in that this is how God found me, and this is how He's using me. So that's that about my tattoo.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Thank you.
That is very well said. So you all had it. Kambua, before you sing, you go sing for Musiku na Mchana. That's Lee Chomle. Does this happen to you a lot? Do you run into people who tell you to sing stuff for them?
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
I do, actually.
so do you just break into song?
No. It depends on where it is. It depends on, it's usually a good icebreaker sometimes. But other times, you know, I've also learned to sometimes throw it back to that person, like, you like my song? I'd really love to hear you sing it. So it's actually really cool to get people sing my songs as well.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So you're not going to sing it?
No.
Okay, I tried Lee.
Larry can sing it.
I can't sing it. I just said, I like Nishkili and I like Umetenda. Mem and Jijo played both of them. So
Okay,
I'm out
so
of the
you're
hook.
happy.
I'm out of the hook.
Okay.
Happy Kampa.
Le chom
Le.
le. I will sing for you. Maybe now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Siku na mchana nakupa sifa, day and night, Lord, I'll give you praise. Kila niendapo nakuinua, I will honor and live for you.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Jijo is really getting in on it right there.
Let's do it.
Seriously, Jijo? You know, here's the thing about Jijo. He comes on the show and has more fun than the artist.
I like
he's
that.
usually in his own world.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, let's get down.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Kambua, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you, Larry.
on.
I'm so honored.
We please come back again.
Yeah.
Then
Here,
get your new
I have a
album
gift
out.
for you. Enjoy the song.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we're going to play it as we go to the break. This is Tutaonana Tena from Kambua, dedicated.
Yeah, to my late father and to everybody else who's dealing with the loss of a loved one.
We'll be right back.